Thanks to a 5-1 defeat here at Enfield. How do you explain that one?
All I can do is apologise to the brave supporters who came in. Obviously, it's our first proper smashing of the season, but it was a huge game, and from the absolute kick-off, we were abysmal. No fight, lost every first and second ball. I thought we were abysmal, quite frankly. I think they just wanted it more, which is disgusting for me to say that. So, as I said, Rank says, I'm really sorry about it. I'm gutted. I didn't see, I wasn't expecting necessarily that we would definitely win the game, but they just wanted it more. Frankly, I think they've been in our box 6 times and scored 5 goals. We've been in their box 5 times and scored 1. But we were poor all around the park, with the exception of a couple of youngsters, quite frankly. And second half, we made a lot of changes. I thought we started really brightly, and a complete fluke kills the game stone dead. Just no excuses. It was terrible.
What needs to change for Tuesday?
For Tuesday, it's difficult. I need to really think hard myself. That was not about tactics or anything. They just wanted it more. We just didn't win any challenges. We hardly won a header all day. We were bullied. We made poor decisions where people didn't do what they were told to do. Didn't run hard. They wanted it more. As I said, it was a huge game. So very difficult for Tuesday. I've got some really harsh decisions to make from my end all the way down, quite frankly. I've just had it out with the players. Predominantly, I'm not sure how much enough of them care. And I brought them to the club. So ultimately, that's 100% my decision. And we need to see a reaction. I'd be lying if I was sure we were going to get one. Tuesday, again, away. Becomes just the most massive game, and maybe I'm overreacting considering it's November. We've not been cut dry. This is definitely my biggest challenge ever in football in all these years. We looked a bit splintered, but we were just second best all around the park. They want to play, but didn't give ourselves the grounds to. From the first minute, it got to minute 4 and we'd lost every single challenge, and that is, quite frankly, pathetic. And as I said, all I can do is apologise. I literally wish I could go over there and give the supporters their money back, the few that made it, and it was absolutely abysmal conditions here. But congratulations to Enfield, by the way. Absolutely blew us away. Wanted it more, and wanting it more is something that is just not acceptable. And I've said to the lads that it cannot be right. It's worse that 2 weeks ago we're beating Dorking, and 3 weeks ago we're competing with Dagenham and beating Maidenheads. Yet we turn up here and literally just nothing. I could not have worked harder to get the group right and being positive and telling what a fight of a game we're going to need to match them, and so ultimately I've got that wrong. I'm interested. I've asked the players to write to me all over the next 24 hours what they're thinking. I don't know whether they'll just blow smoke, quite frankly, but we're in a right relegation battle now. If anyone for 1 second, and I've not doubted it, we've not been good enough. I've not been good enough. Football's about who you bring to a football club predominantly, because that had nothing to do with tactics whatsoever. A team that just wants it more all around the park, in both boxes, in the middle of the park, up front, defensively. That's just, and as I said, I know this will give the doom and gloom merchants, rightfully so. This was a proper hammering against a team that had lost so many games. I knew it was a big game. We told the players, we worked so hard, people get out there, but far too many players just were second best or doing their own thing. And that is very worrying, and something as a club, I'm about to speak to people, we've got to decide as a group what we are or aren't going to do about it. Because quite frankly, we are in a right mess right now, that's for sure.
Of course, we go to Chippenham on Tuesday. What are you expecting from them?
They'll pop it around us for fun if we turn up like that. I mean, as I said, I thought the second half group, because we made 4 changes and the 5th pretty quickly. And I must put on record, Oliver was taken off because it was a prerequisite for Charlton. I thought he was one of our better players. And the reality to it is that, I don't know, is the truth of it. As I said, I don't think you can take away from the fact that our players want to do it when it suits them. That's a really worrying tract. And it's a massive game. Kind of bringing people, I'd love to get people out, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe I have to have tell some of them, I've made it clear in there. And these big earners for us, it's massive, and they're not doing it. And I brought them to the club, so there's no excuse here. Ultimately I brought them. They're not doing it. They're not fighting hard enough, or they think they know better. And as I said today, was purely that Enfield wanted it more in our box, and they defended much better. They won all their contacts. They won the second balls all over the park. And congratulations to them. And a very, very low moment, that's for sure. And right now, you just feel like rolling your head up and saying, sod it, and letting it all fall apart. Because you've got 90% of players on contracts at this level. But I've told them, we work so hard. I work so hard to look after players. But if that's what they're going to give me, then I've got it wrong, and then we'll have to change it, because that's really the first time this season we've completely come second best in the hunger department. And that's, you have to run, you have to fight, you have to scrap. We gave ourselves no chance in that game, and that's where we are.
Okay, thanks Spencer, and best of luck for Tuesday.
All right, thank you.